Growing up an only child without a mother, Liam did not have a normal childhood. His father owned a bar where he held secret meetings that Liam was not ready to attend. Liam would find ways to sneak behind the counters where the secret door was located and look through the keyhole. Usually the room was black, with the sounds of chanting, but occasionally the lights would be on and Liam could see symbols written on the walls. Liam would ask about his mother, and his father would say she served her purpose giving birth to you and was no longer needed. Being a curious child, Liam would sneak into his father's office during his meetings. He usually found obscene photos of women, weird drawings and poems, candles, and other odd objects. After pulling out a small trunk with a floral design, Liam found it was filled with family photographs. Pictures of his mother dressed in a hospital gown holding 2 baby boys. There was another picture of a newborn baby girl by herself. The words "deceased" were written on her cradle. More pictures of his mother were found in the floral box, and Liam decided to take one for himself and place it on his dresser. Walking into Liam's bedroom, Liam's father sees the picture and sternly asks where he found it. Scared and frightened by his father's tone, Liam says he is sorry. Liam's father adjusts his temper and feels it's time to have a little family history lesson. He tells him a story of a young woman who, despite a problematic pregnancy with triplets, wanted nothing more than to meet her 2 sons and daughter. She and the daughter died during childbirth, and the father was left with twin boys. At the time, the father could not care for twins on his own, and he placed one for adoption. Liam's father decided to let him keep the photo of his mother. Placing the photo back on his dresser, Liam turns and with a big smile asks, "I have a brother? Can I meet him?" His questions were answered with, "Now's not the time." Liam gets into bed happy that he has a brother and hopes that someday the 2 will meet. Pulling the covers over him, he says this is the best day he's ever had. His father says goodnight, turns out the light, and walks to his office. Sitting on an old, dust-covered bookshelf sits a small box, and inside is a coin. Liam's father decides to pay the brother a visit to hand him the coin and a family secret he must keep. On Liam's 12th birthday, his father hands him an old antique dagger with red and blue jewels. The handle was white with gold detailing. Black spiral etching flows up the blade. Liam, bewildered by its unique beauty, says thank you. Liam's father says that someday the dagger will be of great importance and an important decision will have to be made. Fast forward 6 years later, not attending college and bartending at his father's bar, Liam is fixated on knowing what goes on behind the secret room. Watching the door closely while pouring a glass of whiskey for a customer, Liam's father opens the door long enough for Liam to see the symbols he remembers as a kid. There were 3 sets of triangles, one triangle with 1 circle inside, another triangle with 2 circles, and a third with 3 circles inside. Just before the door closed, Liam was able to see another bar filled with the finest liquor and wine. After a year of dead-end research, he decides to bring up a casual conversation while cleaning the bar and ask his father what's behind the door, hoping this would give him insight to the symbols. Liam's father told him not to worry about the room and to focus on the customers in the bar. With his father's consistent, dismissive parenting style and growing up without a mother, this causes Liam to become a bit of an egotistical narcissist. He's had many failed relationships due to him being too controlling and jealous. His last relationship ended after his ex-girlfriend finds him interrogating and threatening her friends. Lying in his bed, looking at the picture of his mother, Liam couldn't help but wonder what his mother was like. Liam's father feels it's time for another family story of a previous marriage he ran out on. A woman named Edna who gave birth to twin daughters. He goes on to tell Liam that one of those twins was placed for adoption while the other remained with Edna. For years he watched both his daughters grow up, just far enough to where they wouldn't know he was there. He watched how Mary fell in love only to have her heart crushed after learning about her husband's affair with another woman. Little did Mary know it was her non-identical twin sister Rebecca. Liam's father continues with the confession that he had part in an accident that left a newborn and 5-year-old girl orphans. The two girls went through separate adoptions and have never met each other. Liam, listening to every detail, learns that his father is a satanic cult leader. The dagger is only one of 5 pieces needed to perform a ritual for wealth and power. Liam's father gives him the list of other items needed: an opal ring, a poem written by a virgin, an antique coin with 2 circles in a triangle, and red wine. Agreeing to get the rest of the items, Liam searches for a few years but ends up empty-handed. On his 30th birthday, Liam is sitting alone at his father's bar when he sees Ashley from across the way wearing an opal ring. She introduces herself as Rebecca Bennett. Recalling his father's part in an accident killing a woman with the same name, Liam believes she is Rebecca's daughter. He knew he had to keep the relationship going, so he slips his phone number into her jacket pocket in hopes she would call. Late the following morning, Liam gets a call from a random number. Feeling curious, he decides to call the number back. To his surprise, it is Ashley, and the two chat for a while before agreeing to have coffee on Sunday. Early Sunday morning, Liam tells his father about Ashley and how he believes she is Rebecca's daughter. Intrigued, Liam's father tells him to keep her close. She has the opal ring needed for the ritual. Liam gets to the coffee shop early and takes a seat by the window. He sees Ashley walk in and waves her over. The two chat for a while until Liam feels himself shift into something more malevolent. A series of personal questions are asked, followed by an unwilling urge to forcefully bring her to his father's bar. The look in his eyes scared Ashley to the point that she excuses herself and leaves. Liam intently watches her leave through the coffee shop window. Liam shakes himself awake as if he was under some sort of trance. Feeling like everyone was staring, he gets up and leaves the coffee shop. Walking down the street, Liam couldn't help but notice a man in a hoodie following him. Not wanting to be under surveillance, Liam walks into a convenience store while the man in the hoodie watches from across the street. Liam notices Ashley's reflection in the security mirror. He starts to feel the same trance-like state and watches her every move. Deep in the trance, he doesn't notice Adam and bumps into him. Liam makes his way out of the store only to be met by his father. Liam, now realizing his father is behind his trance-like state, turns to his father and says, "You're not my father anymore, George."